Well, good morning, everybody. It's Janet and Jason for the first ever weekend forecast. I think this is the first time we've ever done a weekend one, isn't it, Jason?
Yes. But we have
So grab your cup of coffee.
We have ulterior motives, Janet. We're not being as sweet as we were coming off to be.
You know, you're not supposed to tell secrets, Jason.
I'm that person. I can't lie, and I hate secrets unless they're really juicy. Like you and I have a love child somewhere in Guam. You know, that's juicy. See, they would be gorgeous children, but
in Guam,
Kuala Lumpur, anywhere. But I am giving up the secrets because I want everyone to know.
Well, here's a really good question to ask everybody. Have you ever wondered why it is that certain signs have certain symbols attached to them?
Many times.
Or why the tarot cards seem to sometimes really blend with the astrology of something, like the death card, meaning something about transformation, which is also equatable to Scorpio, which is also equatable to the 8th house in the astrology chart. Have you ever wondered about how all that comes together? That's what Jason and I are doing here this morning at a god-awful hour, here to sit and tell you guys about a class that we're doing on Tuesday, where we are going to decode the cards and apply those codes, the soul codes, we should just call this the soul codes, to astrology, the planets, and mythology. Pardon me?
I like that. Write that down or we're going to forget it. Soul codes. Shit.
Taking a note.
Name. That's a great name for what you're about to, I'll let you go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You're all excited, dude. Go.
Janet and I are, if you could think of the Dungeons and Dragons dweebs, we missed out on that. But what we ended up doing was overloading on mythology and symbols. I think anybody who is psychic, who is at all sensitive, reacts to these images. Janet has said it. I have said it. The soul speaks and thinks in images. So that's what we're all about. And hi, Michelle. And I mean, look, I'm pretty vain, Janet. For me, look at the back. Look at me. And I wasn't even up being a nasty whore. I mean, this is packing for Paris. I'm packing for London here. And so I must love me to show my baggy, saggy ass face to be this excited about something. So Monday, no, I lied. Tuesday, which is what? Halloweeny. We are going to be doing our first class together as a teaser. It will be free. And it's going to be done on what format? It's going to be done on...
We're going to be doing it right here on Be Live, which transmits initially right to Facebook, and then we'll put it into a YouTube video and do all the usual places that we do our daily tarot readings. But this is really a taste test, a teaser of what's to come as we're putting together the major arcana and the astrology of each one of those cards, and then we'll be presenting that in a series of classes sometime soon. I don't want to get to the dates yet because, you know, things like that take a lot of time to put together. In fact, this morning I was up early, Jason. I was pleasantly surprised because I got up early and I opened my front door to let my kitty cat out, and right in front of me was the constellation Orion.
No.
And I thought, why did that catch my attention this morning? Because I had my computer. I went and I sat down at the kitchen table with my computer and I started looking up the symbology of Scorpio, because that's my part in our deal on Tuesday. And wouldn't you know it, but there's a very powerful myth about Orion and Scorpio and how it plays out in the whole of the mythology. So I can't wait to share that. And
that's exciting. And I am going to illuminate our audience on one or two interesting facts on the number 13. As you know, I am very keen on that because that's my birth date. And of course, my name is Jason, and I was studying opera, and I had no idea about pop culture. And everyone's like, oh my God, your name is Jason? You were born on Friday the 13th? And I'm like, yeah, and it was all about that movie, Jason, Friday the 13th.
Oh, the movie, the Halloween movie.
Like a fucking idiot, I had no idea. However, we will get into the numerology as well as to what the mystique over any other number, I think, besides maybe pi.
Yeah.
This number seems to hold the most charge to it, to at least the layman. And there's a reason why it is associated with death or the disappearing of something. But I will not tell you. You will have to find out about that on Tuesday, and you can. It's some pretty cool geometry, actually, when you think about it.
Nice.
So, you know, Janet and I have been doing these radio shows together, and we just find that there are too many commonalities, too many congruences to avoid them. And I actually went online yesterday, and I could not find decent books or programs, teaching programs on the symbiosis of these two things. And the ones that I did, I was like, oh God, that's not what we're teaching. I was like, oh.
We have our own take on these things.
You know. So that being said, I'm really excited about this. Well, I'm excited, period. But I'm excited about this coming Tuesday, launching it hopefully on this wonderful day of Halloween.
Yes, and just because we haven't said this yet, it'll be on Tuesday afternoon at 3 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. East Coast time. We plan on spending about an hour, so we hope not to interfere with too many of the Halloween festivities that people might be involved with.
And I might be in costume.
I thought about that. I wondered if we should be in costume, although I don't want to be in costume.
I got a party to go to after, so I'll probably just prep and do the makeup, and then I'll see you as God knows what.
Who are you supposed to be that day?
I think I'm going to go as a Catholic priest.
Oh my God, that would be so funny.
Gone awry. In other words,
on robe.
Think
The Exorcist meets the...
Think zombie meets priest, but not quite at the ravaged zombie stage yet. You could see things didn't go quite right for him. And so, you know.
Nice.
If I can find my clerical collar.
Well, you can always make one out of a piece of paper or something, cardboard.
Anywho, so that probably what's going on there. We're having incredible fall, spring-like weather today here.
Yes, so are we. It is gorgeous. This morning, when I was outside, I also saw the planet Venus, who is sparkling in her morning finery. And before everybody has to go off to work and play, let's talk about the energy of the day. We are still dealing with the moon today in the sign of Aquarius. In fact, today it's at 13 degrees of Aquarius, or right now it is your favorite number, 13 Aquarius. So we get to be quirky and odd, and there's a sort of magic that comes when the moon moves through Aquarius, because the unexpected can happen, and people are kind of, I think, in a better mood. Even though there's weird stuff going on in the world, the people themselves are in a better mood and are, you know, looking forward to Halloween perhaps, and a little bit sugared up, because can you stay out of the Halloween candy, Jason?
You know, you're talking to somebody who occasionally has these things called the munchies.
And that Halloween candy is so delectable. Oh my gosh. So I practically got myself into a diabetic coma the other night on Halloween candy. So I'm not doing that again. So what card do you have for us today?
A couple times I've chosen the card, the 10 of Wands. If you remember, it's the half man, half burro with the wands looking like they're coming out of his back.
The owl on his head.
And the owl on his head. That is a card of burden, the beast of burden, but it is because of the exterior acting upon the card puller. He is weighed down. He is weighed down. He is oppressed by work, by family, by disease, by whatever it is. But it's a physicalized, manifested, third-dimensional thing that has been, quote, put upon. Not that we didn't ask for it, but it's a physical realm oppression. I bring to you, ladies and gentlemen, the Four of Discs today, which is one of my favorite visual cards. And it's a card of It doesn't go in the happy pile.
Oh. Wow, that is, I don't think we've seen this card.
Once or twice. Can you see it clearly?
Yeah, I can see it's looks like Atlas holding up the world, and
yes. Now, from the
in a
bottom
crystal
up,
ball or in a bubble of sorts.
Do you see what's on the floor?
Looks
4
like
big blocks, stones that he's standing in between.
Yeah.
You don't actually see his head, do you?
No, his head is the ball.
Ah.
He's in his mind.
And then this ball, I'm going to try and get in close. Can you see here what that looks like?
Yeah, it looks, hold on. Hold on a second. I'm going to take and put me out of the picture so that it's all you. Now back the card up a titch. Now, what is that? It looks almost like a mandala, but a city.
There we go. So look at that bottom part. It's somewhat of a mandala, but it's like, think of the Rene Magritte pictures with that big floating rock in the middle thing. Well, there's this rock, and on top of it is this perfect Shangri-La-like castle.
Okay.
Oh, the shit we put ourselves through in our own heads sometimes.
That is true. That is so true.
If I was just to give you one word and walk away, I'd say, look at all that shit that's on his head.
That's not one word.
But you know what I'm saying? Like one sentence, like a quickie. Look at all the shit that's on his head. But to really just dissect that for a moment. Do you remember how in the balance card there are the two bubbles, the feather and the stone? Mm-hmm. This begins to bring this idea back, because in the house, in the bubble, is the idealist. It's that very Virgo quality, am I right?
Idealism is the realm of Aquarius. And here's the moon in Aquarius today.
Now, the only other person with a huge, big round head like that is the moon card in my thing. So, I think
that's right. Yeah.
It's interesting to make that association, but I digress. The castle is nirvana, is perfection. So every one of us, and hopefully these new millennials that you talk about, will be able to escape the ravages of this unfortunate parental put upon. And what do I mean by that? The how can I help you become who you are thing. Well, unfortunately, we don't get that message. We get, you're going to be a doctor, you're going to have 2.4 children, and you're going to have a wife, and preferably of the same religion. And well, this card is about all the shit we bring with us about creating our perfect world, and the perfect man, and the perfect woman, and the perfect situation, and the neat home, and to have the perfect things everywhere, and perfect to live up to the Joneses of carrying all this weight of obligation that you put upon yourself. If you didn't have a job, if you didn't need to work, if you didn't have what would you do, is what the card says to you. If you didn't imprison yourself. You know the one card that I have with a hand that's behind the thorns?
No.
And there's another one where the wands, where he's holding and he's gripping and they're bleeding.
Yes.
It's kind of that other story whereby the hand with the 5 of wands with all the prickles, he hasn't touched it yet. It's a mental jail where he is figuring shit out. And if he doesn't figure that shit out, when he gets to the other sword card with truth, then he has to grip the blades of the jail cell. Then he has to cut himself. That mental versus physical. Here we go again. Mental versus physical in these cards.
Because the moon in Aquarius is also mental. Right there, it's an air sign, so it takes us to the mind. So what you're saying is we have to change our mind about
hardcore. We are putting shit on our heads for no reason. Who said you have to have 4.2 children? Who said you have to have a condo? Who said you had to have anything? It's what you have been programming this fantasy because of what's been force fed to you. And unfortunately, people get the things that they finally go for, and then they realize, what the fuck was I doing? So the card is warning to get out of the jail in your head.
Out of your head and into your body. create a new story. That's the thing that I see about it, is about the story. In fact, that's been kind of going around in my own head lately, is the idea of stories, and
Yeah.
what are the stories that we're telling ourselves
Yeah.
about our world, about ourselves.
Yes. And the other thing to remark about is that the Burro card, that other card, is a red, fiery, physically. It is a physically oppressive card. It can talk about disease, the other one. This is all cool. These are all cool colors. It shows you that it's all cerebral. These maturations are from the brain, from the mind, from the defined ajna, whatever words you want to use on me. But I know this card well. And it is the fear of disappointing family, the fear of disappointing yourself, your friends, your obligations. And if you can readdress those obligations, you might find some happiness. Are you still doing things out of guilt from your parents? Somebody who you're in an abusive relationship now with because in the past they did something wonderful for you? So, I mean, this card is pregnant with information, and it's a lovely information. So, I interrupted you. You were discussing the moon in Aquarian, and then what else was happening today?
Well, we're still in the we're still at the effect of Venus squaring Pluto, which yesterday we talked about in bringing past love relationships back for either re-evaluation or re-experiencing, and reestablishing your values in the confines of a relationship. And it was interesting yesterday because readings I was doing, there was a lot of relationship stuff there, and people, one person in particular who was really stuck in a groove around what the mind was telling that person about the relationship that they were in. And interesting because at some point got cut off, the conversation got cut off because they didn't know any longer want to hear about their own responsibility in creating the value system in that relationship. So it is interesting how we stick to our stories, as you're saying, and how easy it really would be if we would just let go of that to create a new story or a new possibility for how it is we want to show up in relationships. So that's still that's not going away today. That's still in the game. It's all about getting back to your values. What do you value? If you say you value a loving, beautiful relationship, then why are you creating chaotic, stressful relationships? That's a great question to ask, and calls for you to take responsibility for how you're showing up in those relationships. So
I would like to point out one beautiful thing here that just occurred to me while you were talking, because even though I tune her out, folks, when she starts her talking, my energy opens up and I start to channel. In the Burro card, you can see that there is this, what's the best way to put it? Gosh, I had it and now, of course, it just left my head. Who was Atlas? Let me start there. Miss Mythology. Do you remember?
Atlas was one of the Titans, or
yeah, he was one of the Titans, and he fought. I'll have to look it up. I feel like a schmuck. Didn't he fight Hercules? Anyway,
let's see.
Regardless, we know that Atlas was, if not one of the strongest, physically strongest characters of all time. He held up the world, right?
Atlas led a battle of Titans against Zeus, which lasted for 10 years. Eventually, Atlas was singled out by Zeus and forced to hold up the heavens as a special punishment.
Okay. Thank you, dear. That being said,
Google, my friend.
Do you think it is harder to hold up the heavens, or do you think it is harder to hold up 10 wooden wands on your back?
I don't think either one sounds like a very good
however,
plan.
I will pick those wands over that any day, because think of what the initiates did. They chose a Titan to hold up the bubble In order to hold that, you have to have a Titan. That tells you what kind of excruciating mental anguish, how much more devastating it can be to the physiology of a person, that other than just being, I've got to work too much, or I have physical pain, or blah, blah, blah. They show you a Titan holding that up. They don't show you a Titan holding up the other stuff. So in order to deal with this, so the thought I was going to say to people today was, it's a beautiful day. If you can give yourself a break, I'll take that. Because like you said, this is not going away anytime soon.
No. We are being tasked with letting down that guard of letting down the mind and its hold on our reality. So that's definitely not going away soon. But you can see it. It's, definitely in effect every day of our lives as we are swimming through this muck of transformation that's been happening on this planet. So keep up the good work, people. Change your mind. Change your story.
Back again tomorrow.
We will be tomorrow here, 8 o'clock Pacific time. What is that, your time? 11 a.m. Jason time.
Jason time. Janet
time. And on Monday, Jason will not be with me, but I will still be here at 8 o'clock on Monday morning to bring you the week's, or at least the starting of the week's energy forecast. In the meantime, everybody.
Or we could do a double donger tomorrow. And you can take Monday off as well. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, we wish you all a wonderful day. Enjoy the weather wherever you are. If you've got beautiful weather, even if you don't, still enjoy your day and let your mind go. Have some fun. Go out and be crazy. Yeah, just don't eat a lot of candy. Not good for the body. Take care, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Oh.